Okay, this is 1.3, finding limits from graphs. So it starts off by asking, what is a one-sided limit? So a one-sided limit is the y value a function approaches as you approach a given x value from either the left or the right side. So let's look at an example. It says the limit of f as x approaches 3 from the left side is -1. Okay, so it gave us this in a sentence, and it wants us to write it as a statement. So as x approaches 3 from the left side, so we write a little minus, is equal to -1. So if I go over here and I look at 3, notice that from the left side, this does approach -1. But if we look at the opposite side, so as x approaches 3 from the right, we notice that we get 2. Because this is the right side, notice that this is the value, we get 2. It says if the two sides are different, then this tells us that the limit does not exist. Okay, so the limit as x approaches 3 does not exist. And the reason for that is because the limit as x approaches 3 from the left of f of x is not equal to the limit as x approaches 3 from the right of f of x. This is our justification of why the limit does not exist. So in example 2, gives us a graph and it wants us to answer all the following. Okay, so let's start with this one, -2. So -2 is here. And then this one says -2 from the left. So -2 from the left is going to be 1. Okay, now let's look at -2 from the right. So -2 from the right is -2. Because look at this function down here. Okay, it's approaching down here. So -2. So since the limit from the left does not equal the limit from the right, that means the limit overall of -2 is D and E, does not exist. Okay, so let's look at now as x approaches 1. So that's right here. And so as x approaches 1, we have to look from both sides. So we look at the left, that's approaching 1, and the right, that is also approaching 1. So since they are both approaching the same value, the limit is 1. Okay, let's look at 0. Okay, it looks like also at 0, especially since this part, you see how this is solid here? So no matter from the left or the right, it's still going to approach that same value of -2. Oops. Okay, now this one says 3 from the left. So let me erase. So we have clean slate again. So 3. Here is 3 from the left. So again, notice this is continuous here. Meaning from the left and the right, the value is going to be the same, and that value is going to be 5. Okay, now the limit as x approaches -1. Okay, again, notice that it is continuous in that area. So no matter from the left and the right, it's all going to approach -3. Okay, then f of 1. So f of 1 is here. Okay, I can't go up because there's a hole. That means if I go up, there's no value. It's undefined. But I also have a point that is closed right here, which means my value is defined here at -2. And then f of -2, which is here, notice I can go two ways. I can go up to a closed circle or I can go down to an open circle. Well, at an open circle, that means that value doesn't exist. So I have to go up, which means my answer is 1. Okay, last example, example 3 says sketch a graph of a function g that satisfies all the following conditions. So the first one is that g of 3 is equal to -1. So g of 3, -1. That's our first condition. Good. The limit of g of x as x approaches 3 is going to be 4. Okay, so as it approaches 3, Okay, from either end, it's going to be 4. So we know it has to have something that's going this way and something that's going this way. I don't know what else yet. Then I have the limit as x approaches -2 from the right is going to be 1. Okay, it's going to be 1 from the right. So this, so let me go ahead and continue this way. So that's good. Then it says g is increasing from -2 to 3. -2 to 3, increasing, yep, I have an increasing slope, that's good. And then the limit of g of x as x approaches -2 from the left is greater than when it approaches it from the right. So if I'm going to have this be 1, I need to have something greater. So 3 is greater than 1. And then I'm going to have this go this way, and then I can add an arrow here, and there we go. I have finished all my conditions and created my graph.